Would you like to state your name for the camera, please?
Allison Wisnett.
And what is it exactly that you do as hobby wise?
My hobby is working on my family history. They call it genealogy. So I work a lot with a couple of websites to get information about who my ancestors are.
What first inspired you to begin researching our family genealogy, and was it necessary to you? Did you feel like it was just a fun thing that you can pass the time with?
It started out more as a fun thing. It was interesting to see, for example, how much land they owned or what their occupations were. Were they wealthy? Things like that. And then it has eventually grown into, um,
So, going off of that, have you found anything surprising or an emotional story, perhaps, from going about the different families that you've seen?
oh, yes, there's a lot of different things that I have found, especially in old newspaper clippings. I think one of the most interesting things is that on my dad's side of the family, um, he has ancestors that donated the land that started Princeton University. And there was a verbal agreement that all descendants could attend Princeton for free. But unfortunately, that wasn't put in writing, or that's just a family tell that's been passed down. So things like that. Later generations put an E on it. Our last name, Wisnett, that has been misspelled and changed. A lot of people, when they came from Europe, where our family came from, they were actually Weisenhunt in Europe, and um, Fitz Randolph. And some of those names I recently learned mean son of. And when they got here, they dropped the Fitz, and now their last name's Randolph, but it's still from the same family tree. So some of those things are challenging to be able to locate.
And do you feel it's important? And why would you feel it's important to understand our family history?
Um, to me, it's just kind of knowing where you're from, where your family comes from. Um, Now that people move around the country a lot more, um, I think knowing how you came into the United States, when you came into the United States, it's a boiling pot, a melting pot that is, a lot of people come from all over. So I think it's just interesting and important to know what country you originate from. Some people do look at this because maybe they're adopted and they don't know who their real parents are. Maybe they have genetic issues that are medical that they want to know. Do you have these in your parents, your grandparents, things like that that can help for treatment. So there's a lot of good things that it can be used for.
And finally, if someone started to do this themselves and research their family history, what advice would you give them to make it easier so they're not stumbling back and forth in different areas?
So there's so much information out there, it can be really overwhelming. When you start your family tree on any website, for example, on ancestry.com, as soon as you put a name in, they're going to give you hints that will help you to locate. It could be school pictures from when you were young, it could be um, the phone book, public records, anything that's available. And for example, right now I have 10,000 hints on all the people that are in my tree. Some match, some don't. So you have to take a little bit at a time find a system that works for you. A lot of people like to go jump in. They want to find the famous relative. They all want to come from royalty, that kind of thing. So they have a tendency to hurry up and see how far back they can go. And it can get pretty overwhelming if you let it get too out of control.
So basically, you'd like to say that you want.